Yo, yo, yo. Is this on? I think it's on, yeah. You know, DPS podcast, episode 282. We are back on a Freaky Friday, I guess. I guess you want to call it a fabulous Friday. Let's go. A fabulous, fantastic Friday night. Feeling all right. We got one of your hosts here, SloMoBackSlap, back from vacation. Good to see you guys. And look at that. As soon as we get started, I feel like he was waiting. Ramon Terrell, actor extraordinaire, in the house as well as our other host here, the GameStop manager of the year, Gaming Forte in the house. So yeah, we about to have a show that isn't very heavy on topics, but we're gonna have a great show regardless. So good to see everyone coming through. Glad to see you two gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed not having to hear my voice annoying you for 1 week. But
Oh,
let's
please. The
let's go.
dude who'd make the best voice actor if he just took some lessons.
Hey, man, I wish that was the case, but now, you know what? Since you
Right.
since you speaking up and telling all these falsehoods, sir, Ramon Terrell, how you been, man? Tell us how you been over the past week.
Yeah, I've been doing well. I've been doing well. Just got plates spinning once again. It's funny you mentioned the whole acting thing because I actually took an indefinite hiatus.
Mm,
Um yeah, because ever since COVID and then a few other things happened, it's been pretty bad up here in Vancouver. And
I can imagine.
I noticed, yeah, and so I kind of noticed that between that and my writing career, I noticed that they were both kind of stagnating and I have more control over my writing career.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the stance I've taken is I'm going to build my writing career up. And then when I eventually get that film adaptation call, then I can contract myself into
All
some sort
right.
of role.
Hey,
And that will be by
do
the
it,
20.
Tarantino. Hey, look, I cast myself into this role. Does it
Exactly.
just so happen to be the role where he gets to suck on what you call him's feet?
Oh.
In From Dusk Till
Salma
Dawn,
Hayek's feet.
Simon Hayek's feet. Just so happened. Hey, whoopsie. That's my role. That kind of thing. But hey, when you're the
Like if there's
producer,
something like
you
that
get
in it,
to.
the movie's gonna be called "Get This Work."
But yeah, what you been playing, man?
Man, I have been solely playing 007 First Light.
Okay.
Um, and it has been, yeah, like it sucked me in so much that I haven't even been bouncing between that Forza Horizon 6 and Crimson Desert. So I've been solely on 007 First Light, which is normally my nature as a gamer. I don't typically play more than one game at a time, but the other two aforementioned games are kind of like ongoing games, so I make an
Mm.
exception. But 007 First Light has been an experience. Like I think I mentioned last week that I had started it, but from the opening, the very cinematic opening all the way through, I'm in the last chapter now, so I
Okay.
didn't get a chance to play today. Otherwise, I would have finished it today. But when I tell you, it's like it's an example of why, in my opinion, games are cooler than movies. Because I mean, movies are awesome. Don't get me wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
as my preferred medium other than books, being games, it has all of the cool factor, in my opinion, of the movies, but you get to do the stuff.
Right.
And to me, they accomplished what Rocksteady accomplished with the Arkham series. Because in the Arkham series, they really did make you feel like Batman. Like you felt like you were Batman. And in this game, 007 First Light, like they make you feel like you're 007. Like all the cool stuff that he has access to and everything, it's just chef's kiss.
Now, for someone like myself who basically can't stand stealth games, is there enough like action and set pieces and stuff like that for me to be interested in the game?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every every area, like I don't even know if there's any exceptions.
Hmm.
Every area if you want to start going at it, you can. Like there, I'm trying to think because there's some areas where you're doing like stealth takedowns and you're sneaking past people and everything. But basically, once you're discovered, if it's like a full-fledged enemy, which they always are, then it's the minute they start shooting at you, then you go into and it states it at the top of the screen. It says license to kill. And from that moment, when someone starts shooting at you, now you have license to fire back. And from that
Okay,
point,
prior to
it's
that, you basically can't
yours.
you can't be violent, basically.
No, before unless someone is trying to kill you, you can't kill them. So if you're sneaking around and you're like, all right, I've had enough of this, all you got to do is let yourself be seen, and the minute they start firing at you, then all bets are off.
Gotcha. Cool, cool. You know, I think I'll probably
I would
jump in
recommend.
on it on the sale, but considering how well it's done, I probably can't expect a sale to happen anytime soon. I just kind of hope it does happen before
Fanatical.
September because September is just going to be it
Well,
ain't going to be a
September.
time for me to play anything unless it's just stuff that I've been looking forward to.
It's on sale at Fanatical. I don't know how deep a sale you want, but I got it for I want to say $10 or $12 off or something like that.
Nah, I think I need a little bit more than that. I think I need a little bit more than that. But yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Um, Forte, what you been up to, man?
Working. That's about it. Working.
Working.
Um,
For those who aren't aware, we did have to do DPS tonight on a Friday night instead of a Thursday night because Forte had to do a midnight launch for some Pokemon thing. Was it a game or was it like an
cards.
actual card?
TCG.
So we got delayed for Pokemon cards, y'all.
Guess what? But those Pokemon cards is gonna make us about $1 million in our store in the next month. So
Good
like,
grief.
I'm trying to. It's kind of crazy, like Pokemon craziness. But I haven't seen pre-orders on Pokemon as much as I see. Like the last time I seen numbers in pre-orders like this, I want to say Modern Warfare 2 is the last time I seen an absurd amount of pre-orders for any one thing. And with it being the 30th anniversary of Pokemon this coming out September 16th, we just been taking a bunch of pre-orders on it, and it is wild how much money people spend. But yeah, we had a midnight for the new set that came out today, Pitch Black, and it was just busy at work today too, and people still pre-ordering 30th anniversary stuff. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've been sleeping whenever I can.
Hey, that's
What
always
I've
a good thing.
what I've been playing, absolutely nothing. I haven't touched a video game since last podcast.
Wait,
Literally,
wow.
not one. I haven't even listen. When I tell you, I didn't even turn on. The only time my PC was on is when I came down here. What did I come down here for? Came down here for something. Oh, I had to ship something, and I came down to make a label for it. I think I did it on what Monday and Tuesday. That's the only time it came down to my PC. Other than that, I just been. And then let's see. I was off Tuesday and Wednesday. I worked Thursday, Friday. Well, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Off Tuesday, Wednesday. Slept most of those days. And then back to work on yesterday all day Thursday and then all day today. So yeah, I haven't touched a video game in a week. And I ain't gonna say that it's something that I missed. I will say this.
Oh, wow.
I ain't gonna say I miss it because it's honestly right now it is boring.
Okay, but
It's
okay, are
it's
you
boring.
looking forward to playing anything
Bruh,
this month?
No.
boring.
No, it's boring,
So you're not
bro.
looking forward to playing
Log
Halo
your
Campaign
horizons,
Evolved?
Craig.
Nothing?
And the funny thing is I was watching, well, I'll tell you about this offline. I can't talk about that in here.
Okay.
But
Forte, have you played Echoes of the End?
nope.
This man, you need to
It's
work for them. This man has been marketing echoes of the end to everybody that would
He has
listen.
been. He needs to work for those people, bro.
Exactly. You need to be the community
He
manager or
needs to
something.
work for him, man. It's like crazy.
I'm telling you, man. Like this, I'm so impressed with what this studio accomplished. It's for a double A game. They did such a fantastic job. Not to mention, I greatly appreciate the casting choice.
Mm.
And like, man, if you're bored, you need to play that.
Well,
Like I could turn you on to 10 games for a day. You just got to
Oh, I
step
know
out of
you
the
can.
AAA spaces.
I'll tell you
Listen,
this.
hadn't
I'll
been
tell you
doing
this,
that
Ramon.
really.
I will play. I have Echoes of the End installed. I will play it over the next week, and then we can discuss it next week. My thoughts on
You
it.
know, I'll tell you. I kind of know what it is. I'm going. I know exactly what it is. I'm going through a phase,
Yeah,
and it's like I'm
I
going through
had
this
one
phase.
earlier this year. It happens.
Yeah, I'm going through this phase right now, where unless a game first of all, I don't pay attention to it like that, like a lot of people do. Like I go online, go on Twitter or X and look at things people are talking about, which is always the same thing, which is boring as heck. It's no difference. It's all the same conversations. And then you look at some of the games and stuff's like, oh, it's not like a game that it's not like when Expedition came out and it was like, bro, we got to jump in on Expedition. It ain't
Even though
like
you didn't beat it, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, I didn't. I mean, yeah, I didn't. And but that's actually part of the thing, because for the last year, my focus and the thing that eats up the majority of my time is mostly like going back to the things I used to do when I was younger, like collecting and stuff. So and then 2 months ago, or 3 months ago, actually, I started doing going to pre-release events, and I actually learned how to play the Gundam TCG. So I've been playing I guess being around people that are in an actual place with people. So the thing about just sitting down and sitting at my computer or I don't have an Xbox anymore, but sitting down and just playing a game and actually focusing on it is I don't, that's just gone right now. Until even Halo, as much as I'm interested and I kind of want to play it, it's like, do I really? I experienced that game. Yeah, I'll get a chance to experience the first 3 missions that are a year in advance of the full story and say that, oh, I beat campaign involved, or I got a chance to play as, I could get to play as Sarge and all this other stuff. But and then all the stuff I'm hearing about it, I'm hearing that the lore is how are the people with the lore gonna feel about it? And I'm sitting there bro, how can you even let that even be a question about the lore when there's mountains of books out there that speak to what the lore is? So you want to throw a curveball in the initial run of what Halo actually was a year before it started? So that kind of irritates me too. So not to say I am gonna play it. It's just that it's one of those things where I'm sitting there man, I could just do so much more with my time. And then I'm also going to tell you, and this PlayStation thing actually really bugs me, not because of what they're doing.
The physical
just
games
the whole,
thing?
just the narrative around it just bugs me, because I legit, when I tell you legit, don't want to buy any games on my, I don't even want to buy if my wife didn't want me to get her Grand Theft Auto, I would not buy Grand Theft Auto on PS5. But I know I'm not gonna be able to get away with that, because she could care 2 craps about any of this stuff that's going on, and that's fair. That's her. Me, on the other hand, I don't have an Xbox anymore because I have a PC. I'm not going to go out and buy an Xbox because there's no reason to have an Xbox, because all the games still come to PC. But Grand Theft Auto ain't coming to PC. So that means I got to play it on a PlayStation. And I don't want to play anything on PlayStation right now. I don't want to buy, even if there was a God of War, and you know how much I love God of War. I bought a PlayStation for God of War. If Laffy came out today or tomorrow, I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't even buy a physical. Listen, Addis, I'm not giving them no money Not because I'm trying to stand on principle. I just feel like it's asinine. And I feel like at a certain point, these people that talk about this stuff irritate me so much because it's like you could have took a stand and you could have did this and you could have did that.
Oh,
And y'all talking
I know we ain't doing this again.
and we talking big, strong words out here about what we gonna do. But guess what? All y'all gonna still buy these games. And then I hear people say, "Oh, I'm not ready to give up games. I'm not ready to give up playing my games on my PlayStation." Then what are you arguing
Forte,
for?
you have been angry at other gamers for being digital for 3 weeks now.
I've been angry about that there's a difference. It really bugs seriously. It bugs me because I don't care if you're digital. I care that you want to have a mouth and run it whenever they come out and actually say that something's happening that you knew was happening forever. So you can't sit here and make it seem like, oh, this is wrong and all this stuff. Bro, you knew this was coming. You could have everybody had a voice and everybody knew that this was the possibilities. You can't tell me that you woke up one day and didn't realize you didn't have real ownership of your digital license. You can't tell me that you didn't know that already. The only reason you're talking like this is because the crowd, the mob mentality, everybody's talking about it. So you want to be part of it. You want to be a person that's you don't want to stand out and be the person.
You're
that's
doing a lot of assuming of how other people feel.
I didn't say who. I'm not naming no names.
But I'm just saying you don't know these people personally.
All I'm saying is there is a lot of people out here using this for clicks and promotion, and it's fine. It's whatever. But for me, I have to stand on business. And like I said, the only game that will be purchased on the PlayStation 5 is Grand Theft Auto, and that's not for me. I will wait till next year. Honestly, I'm so happy that my PlayStation is not even here because I don't even have to even look at it because my father-in-law still has it. He's had it since last month, and yeah, I don't even have to worry about it. But it's just that's kind of where I am. So even when I kind of want to play something and I think about playing games, like I told you when I booted up Ghost of Tsushima or not Tsushima, Yote, I was like, dang, I'm really rethinking this. I kind of want to play this game. But guess what? That's gone. I could care less because of the whole situation now of everything going on. Does it affect me personally? No, because I've always knew it was like this. But I also ain't a person that's running out here running his mouth saying that this is the end. But whatever. But other than that, like I guess this is
are you mad at PlayStation because of what they're doing, or are you mad at PlayStation because of what other people are saying? Because it seems like your anger seems
I can't be mad at PlayStation. Dude, listen, I can't be mad. No, listen, I can't be mad at PlayStation for doing what they're doing because they're only doing what they're doing is because people are allowing it to happen because of because
they were going to do this anyway.
Why don't you want to play on PlayStation because other people are being what you feel are hypocrites?
Because I always had the stance where if this was to become the situation in the way that they're handling it, I don't have to participate. Like if they would if they would have just came out like it just said like, we're winding down physical media at some point in the future, it's going to be, because this is the thing. How is video games going to be the first thing that's going to go out the airlock when it comes to physical games? Which is
my point that like the people didn't make this decision. Sony made this decision because physical games are a bigger percentage of gaming than say Blu-rays and movies and Blu-rays and like TV series, TV boxes and hold on. It's bigger than CDs and music and so all those
that's why the median is bigger.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter. The percentages are still higher. So somehow gaming is ending physical first. that's clearly not because of the people. It's because of the companies that are choosing to force that. It has nothing to do with the people. The percentages could be even more in the like higher percentages for physical, and they still would have did this anyway.
And we still be where we are now. And I would still feel the same way I feel. And I don't have to support it. Because
Oh, wait, I'm not saying you have to support it. I'm not saying that. There's a
Somebody
lot of
asked me
people
this
not
at work
supporting it.
the other day. Somebody asked me about this at work the other day. And he was like, you know, what systems do you have? I said, I got a PlayStation, a Switch, and a PC. I had an Xbox. I got rid of my Xbox because there's no reason to have one because I got a PC. And he says, well, PC's been digital forever. And I said, fair point. I said, but PC going digital has pretty much, for the most part, always been kind of digital, because even if they gave you a CD, you still had to have a code to unlock it. They just made it so the CD disappeared, and then over the course of time, people just got used to the fact. And I guess that's kind of how I wish PlayStation would have went about doing, because in order to get to the promised land that they want to get to, where they have this all digital future like PC has right now, they didn't just stop making CDs. It was to the point where people just didn't own. It got to the point where people didn't even own an optical drive in their PC, and the sales on them dropped so drastically that the majority. And Steam has the data because they had hardware checks on everybody's Steam, and then at a certain point they look up. It's like, dude, literally like 5% of the people that own a PC have a disk drive. And all the developers and all the publishers see this data too, and they just got to a point where it's like, well, yeah, guess what? It's no reason to keep fostering this dying media on PC, because 99 or 93 or 97% of the people that play on it don't even have the means of even using it anymore.
You're making my point that you should be mad at Sony because Sony is forcing this, and it's not necessarily a market.
When I say I'm more mad at people for not speaking up earlier. I'm still mad at Sony. I'm not giving them a pass.
It would not have mattered if more people would have spoken.
It's still a principle. Listen, you can say, the fact that you can still yell in a crowded room and nobody pays you attention, that's fine. But at least I heard you yell in that crowded room. You stood out. You were a person that actually stood out, and I remember that you said something. Not trying to be a part of this vocal majority where everybody's yelling. Everybody wants to talk and make it seem like they felt this way. That's all I'm saying. I respect the people that came out and just go ahead.
I don't know which content creators you talking about.
It's a bunch of people, man. But
all right, but we ain't gonna make a whole show about some unnamed content creators. So we need to wrap this up.
Well, to circle back to what we were talking about me, I missed you guys. Thank you for all of the love and support that you guys gave us last week when it was me and Ramon. We actually killed it without SloMo being here. We proved that SloMo does not have to be here to run the shop. We were able to do it on our own. But guess what? We still missed him and we still loved him, and we're happy that he had a great time with us. It was not the same without him, because I didn't get a chance, because all the things I wanted to say to him that I was saying live that he definitely heard during the podcast when he re-listened to it, he didn't even he wasn't there to respond to it, so it was like emptiness sometimes. So I appreciate him, and I'm glad that he got a chance to spend time with his family. But for myself, didn't get a chance to play a game, but guess what I will be playing, though? I will be playing Halo next week when it comes out. I believe it's on the 24th. Embargo comes out on Tuesday, or it's Thursday next week. So definitely.
I think the 24th is a Friday.
24th.
That's a Friday.
24th. And with that being said, SloMo, homie, myth, legend, man, that had a whole week away from the podcast. You know, you're very rested. How has your last 2 weeks been? Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I guess you're going to tell me right now how your last 2 weeks has been.
It's been tiring. I feel like I've spent a ton of money, as you do on vacations, and I feel like I barely got the opportunity to relax. I feel like so we went to Florida, and I feel like one day.
Buy fans?
No, I didn't have to buy fans. The AC was working. It was a little chilly. We had to turn.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. At least you ain't up here dying from from air quality in Michigan.
Well, I was today. Thanks Canada, for
Is it all the
the
way over there next to you?
yeah.
Man, it is wild, bro.
Today was the
Sucks.
worst air quality this area has had, and I think since they've been charting it or something, it was that bad. So
Bro,
it was
our
freaking
air
awful.
quality index yesterday was in the morning was 425. I've never seen it anything higher than like 270. It was 425. And I was like, I walked outside on, I think it was Wednesday is when it happened. I walked outside and it was fine. And 2 hours later, I was like, why does it smell like it's burning out here?
Yes,
And then
that's how it smells.
because it was burning somewhere. And it was just, I couldn't even see outside in front of me, bro. I thought it was like, where did this fog come from all of a sudden? Then that's when I found out about the wildfires. But please continue.
Yeah. So I did my morning walk today with a mask on because it was that bad.
Mhm.
I
Thanks,
I have
Ramon.
a morning walk routine that I do, and I made sure to keep it as I was in Florida. I was a little concerned because maybe some alligators might try to snatch my leg or something, because I'm out in Florida and everything. You never know. It's a different area, but it was fine. I only had one day of like true rest. Everything else was just do this, do that. Kids had a great time, so I'm glad for that. So I can't really complain or anything like that. But it was good. I did some gaming as I was not as much as I wanted to, but I did some gaming as I was out there. I brought my Switch 2 with me with my Gillikit travel dock. So I had it docked. I had like one room in the Airbnb where I had basically I kind of just converted it into like a little gaming room. So whenever I had the time, I would just go in there and just play something for a little bit. I didn't really play the Switch 2 that much, but I did when I did play it, I mostly kind of just played it handheld with the mobile pad HDs connected, as the Joy-Con. So that was
That's
cool.
crazy.
Had my Steam Deck OLED with me, and I played that for the most part when I had the opportunity. And typically, what I do in my mornings is I get up, I drink a cup of coffee, and I play Hades 2. I do a run in Hades 2, and then I do whatever housekeeping kind of things after the run, and then I get into walking, checking with work, and exercise, and whatever else I'm doing in the house. And I did the same thing when I was on vacation, and so at this point now, um, I made a lot of progress with Hades 2. I think I don't know how many achievements I have left on Steam. It's like a handful of achievements left to do on Steam, and I beat the game on Xbox. So now I didn't bring my Xbox with me. I did that this week when I got back, but so I beat Hades 2 twice so far. So that's nice because I think Hades 2 is the best roguelite in existence as far as I'm concerned. What else? What else? Got a nice tan. Just saying. Out in the sun all the time. But other than that, as far as gaming goes, I mean, I've been playing just the same stuff over and over again. I got into a little thing this past week when I got back where I wanted to like further optimize my settings with all my controllers because like the way I use my controllers on PC, I'm basically using 4 controllers right now, and I rotate them. So like today, I was using my GameSir G7 Pro 8K. Tomorrow, I'll be using the GameSir Cyclone 2, and then the day after that, I'll be using the FlyDigi Beta 5 Pro, and then the day after that, it's the Beatong KP40D, that kind of thing, right?
Man,
I
way too much stuff.
Yeah, I was using the Mojang Storm, but I had to basically retire that one, put it in my controller. I have like a Tupperware box of controllers now, and
Yeah, it would be
basically,
nice to see that in the video.
see me throw a controller into a Tupperware box full of controllers. I mean, I don't know if that's
It would just be nice to
video
see the
worthy.
Tupperware thing of controllers and
Anyway,
all the
anyway,
testing you did
anyway,
with it and stuff
anyway,
like that.
anyway.
That would be
Um,
real nice. Wouldn't y'all like to see that, chat?
I
When y'all
don't know.
like to see slow-mo,
I would like to finish what I was saying. That'd be
I mean,
great.
if people would like to,
Um,
know what
so,
the hell
so,
you're
so
talking about when
I
it comes to,
don't know. Maybe I was explaining it when you cut me off and started
yeah, but
talking over me.
some people are visual. They're
Okay.
not, they're
But
visual
they
learners.
can
We're back,
close
folks.
they can
We're
close their
back. The show is
eyes.
back.
Close their eyes and use their imagination. They can get a visual that way. So anyway,
Dude,
look.
it's an audiobook.
No,
Everybody
it's a
cross your legs,
podcast.
cross your legs,
Is
and close your eyes.
It's a podcast.
Sanderson
Power of
narrating this book?
visualization. Audience, the power of visualization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the Mojang Storm, I had to retire because some of these Chinese controller makers, like it's good that they make cheaper controllers. Because like Razer and Scuff and what's another one that everyone uses? I forgot. I don't know. They're all overpriced.
Citrix?
I don't think they're maybe yeah, you could add them in there too. But also the ROG, Asus ROG Rikiri 2 is coming out with an 8K version that's probably going to be well over $200.
Turtle Beach?
Turtle Beach is overpriced trash. But like at least these Chinese controller makers are cheaper with the same features. The problem though is that they also suffer for some of the same issues that I complain about Razer about, where they just like they'll do a firmware update and completely destroy the product. And so that's what happened with the Storm. Like they did a firmware update. I probably should have just not did the update. I probably should have did some research before I did the update. But I did the update and it bricked my controller. I had the factory reset it, got it back. After I factory reset it, I did the update again. And it because I initially I thought, oh, it was just it was a borked update. That happens sometimes, right? I did the update again, and they basically broke the dead zones on the thumbsticks. The dead zones are like at like 25%. It's ridiculous. It's terrible. Like the controller is just barely playable at this point. So I had to until they figure it out and get their stuff together. I'm just putting the controller away, and so now I'm starting to be a little bit more. I mean, I was already slowing down how many controllers I buy anyway. Like you guys would be very,
Really?
very proud of me. I really like
Slow down to
almost bought.
16.
I almost bought this. What is it called?
Oh, here.
Lead
I almost
Joy.
slowed down, but
Le-
here I am
le-
buying almost a controller.
I said I slowed down. I said I almost bought it. It's like a Leak Joy, Xeno Joy. I can't remember the name of the controller. I just like I looked
Let
at
me
it.
Google the next controller coming out that's like known and I guarantee someone's gonna buy it.
Well, I mean, no, I do. The only one I have, GameStar is a little annoying me because I pre-ordered the Tarantula 8K back in June, and it still hasn't shipped yet. So I don't know what's going on with them. I sent them an email and they act like they don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, they know they got my order and everything, but they said, oh,
It says you're not one of
we'll
our
get
trusted
back
creators.
to you again in 24 hours, and then they didn't do that. So whatever. Anyway. But yeah, just that was a little bit annoying. So I had to put that controller away. But outside of that, I've been kind of like fine tuning my settings in games because I the way I was using the profiles, I would have like I had like my profile for Fortnite was the same my same profile for Call of Duty. And then as I started to really kind of get into it, I'm like, that probably shouldn't work. So I changed the my thumbsticks from circular to rectangle for Call of
Nice.
Duty, but that doesn't work for Fortnite. Fortnite needs to be circular, so I just made a separate profile and just did away with another profile I wasn't using anymore. So I mean, outside of that, I guess that's all I've been doing. As you see here, this on the Jumbotron is like, I think this is Vanguard. I think this is Call of Duty Vanguard. I can't remember which Call of Duty this is. But I mean, I played this like the week before I went on vacation, so it's not like I've been playing that this week. But yeah, no, I've been playing Fortnite, Black Ops 7, the finals, as I showed on the Jumbotron a little earlier, and Impulse, which I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be playing Impulse. Honestly, like getting into matches is starting to get troublesome. Like you just waiting, like, oh man, 2 minutes now. I'm still waiting to get into a match. Where the people's at? It's not a good look, but all that said, I am going to get back into playing more like games that are not just live service or shooters and stuff like that. I said I was going to play Directive 8020 from Supermassive. I'm gonna go ahead and stream that probably this week, or I'm sorry, within the next week. So you guys on the channel, go ahead and when you see the notification pop up, come and join in. If you haven't played it yet, don't. If you have already played it yet, don't be like, hey, don't go in that room, slow mo, nothing like that. But we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna play Echoes at the end because I feel like I feel bad for Ramon just talking up this game. He's the only one that's played it on the
Oh my
planet.
gosh.
So like I need
All
so I want him to be, not just the army of one, but army of two. Like we can both cap for the game or whatever. But yeah. So anyway, look, let's
I try so hard not to soapbox for this game, but like they are like for a first time. Well, it diminishes it when I say for a first time AA game of this undertaking because it diminishes it. But number one, it's their first game. Two, for a AA game, the scope, like it's basically akin to a God of War game, but some of the environmental puzzles and everything are so creative and they're always throwing new stuff at you. And the way you can mix magic with melee and everything is just, and they've improved it so much based on community feedback. Like they've done everything right. Like anything that was wrong with it, they were active in the message boards and they're like, because I left a review and they answered it and they were like, "Oh, thank you so much for this feedback, blah blah blah,"
well, I
and they
mean,
fixed
they
some
got
bullshit.
nothing else to do. It's like 6 people played the game. I would say that's the last one. That's the last one. I'm joking. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm a play it. I'm probably gonna be singing his praises like you are. Oh, also, it's got a black woman as the main protagonist, so I can't hate on the game. That game's gonna
And
be.
that's the other reason because the Steam, as the bottom feeders started review bombing it for that reason alone, and then telling like you could tell the people who hadn't played it because the stuff they were saying because
Yeah,
they were trying
yeah.
to dance around the
Just
fact that they hate that black woman exists.
they
But
haven't played it. They haven't touched a woman before in their life. Same thing.
exactly.
But
But
yeah.
then the normal people came in and raised the scores and everything. So, but I'm gonna stop so I don't go back on it again.
Y'all hilarious. All right, so look, let's get into these rapid fire topics. I heard last week Forte had to do this Forte. This is in the soundboard of Discord. You can just go to the soundboard for
it is?
for
Well,
the
it was,
server. It's
I think it was
called
fun the way we did it.
Rapid Fire 2, and you just hit Rapid Fire 2. You don't have to do it by mouth, even though like apparently that was pretty humorous for everyone. But
yeah, it was pretty funny. But even Ramon was in on it. It was crazy. We had fun.
But let's get the original back in here.
Oh really? Oh really?
So for all the Ryan Hurst fans out there, you may have had a pretty bad day. So according to Deadline, Sony Pictures is replacing Ryan Hurst as Kratos in the live-action God of War TV series. Even though he had already filmed 4 episodes, Ryan suffered a major pectoral injury during filming, and apparently he may not be back like healthy after surgery and rehab until next year. And they're just going to have to recast them. At least they say they need to. I have a theory. And my theory is they were waiting for any excuse to go ahead and recast this man because they saw the backlash of them showing him off as Kratos, and people thought, was this a joke? Is it April Fools? This can't be Kratos. This looks like a bad cosplay. And no, it was real, and people were laughing. And I'm pretty sure they were like, this is not the response we thought we was going to have when we showed this picture. So I mean, look, and it's not like this isn't without some evidence that they may have wanted to move on. If you guys remember with God of War Ragnarok, I forgot the actor, the voice actor, the current voice actor for Kratos in the game, he also had an injury which needed
Christopher
surgery.
Judge.
Yeah. There
Christopher
we
Judge.
go. Christopher Judge. They waited for him to get healthy before before continuing on. They could have clearly, and this is a video game, they could have went and had someone actually do the performance capture, find someone of the same stature and size, do the performance capture, and then just have Judge just do the voice. They said, nah, we're gonna wait. We'll wait for you. But for Ryan, nah, they ain't wait for Ryan. So Forte, you're a God of War fan. What do you think is going on here? And also, considering the last minute notice, do you think they'll actually find another actor to play Kratos?
I mean, of course they'll find another actor to play him because there's a bunch of people that want to, you know, don, the dual blades and stuff, and it's an iconic character. It's from a reputable studio and brand like PlayStation and Insomniac, and so I looked at the same thing. It's just like with Last of Us. Like, you think they weren't going to find somebody to play Ellie or someone to play Joel, and probably one of the best games that came out during that generation. I mean, it's those type of roles and stuff where you spare no expense when it comes to like the budgets and everything like that, for like, especially when you're talking about the type of game that God of War is, or the type of show they can make with a God of War. You know, I would think that they could find somebody easily. It just comes down to budget constraints, how long it's going to take, to do that. But I also think, like you talked about with Christopher Judge, they were so far into it with him that they were willing to wait because, in short notice, are we going to be able to find somebody that short? And then you already pissed off half of a majority of the God of War faithful when you didn't recast I forget his name from Living Color.
T
TC Carson.
yes.
TC Carson.
There
Yeah,
we go.
Carson. Yeah, when y'all didn't do that. So I don't think it would have been a good move, and people love what Judge did with the character. Boy was trending the first time they were set in the game. So I think a lot of people were very, very, mixed, but they were pleased with the performance. So doing another pivot and something like that would have been, too short. So they just decided to like stick through it and just wait for the recovery. I don't think that would be the case in this, because we know it is going in a completely different direction, but it really just comes down to how much money and how much temperament they have to spend to like either wait for this actor or to like go out and say, we can't hold up the production and everything. So I don't think it's a big deal, but it just really depends on what the money situation is. And we know across the whole industry, and yes, it's mostly affecting games and stuff, but PlayStation is still a gaming company, and Sony is still, and they're still in the subsidiary of PlayStation or of Sony. So, at the end of the day, they're going to do what makes sense when it comes to their pockets then.
Cool. Ramon, what are your thoughts on this? Matter of fact, I mean, you're an actor, Ramon. Like, have you seen any of this before? Or you have any stories of like, situations like this happening, and production or the producers decide to either keep a guy or woman,
Oh yeah,
depending, or to move on?
yeah. There's countless examples. There's one a little closer to home. A friend of mine. It's on a smaller scale, but a friend of mine. And man, I wanted to slap him upside the head. So he he had booked a part because the first, I don't remember if the second or the third ones were possibly, but the first Deadpool movie was filmed up here.
Okay.
And a friend of mine booked a nice role on it. Problem is, he uh tore his calf muscle playing basketball,
Oh man,
and
not even
he
work related.
was nope. and so I think he was several weeks out or something like that. He was a little bit out before his before he was to go to Canberra, and he told his agent, and his agent told the casting, and they recast his part. And I was like, dude, you had enough time out to where you could have got rehab and at the very least been on set and then say,
Right.
you know what I mean? If you couldn't do it, then at least you would have gotten paid for at least one day. You know what I mean? But it sucked because, on his level, on our level, it's devastating because that's a part in a major motion picture, a major
Mm-hmm.
feature film. Like
Mhm.
I remember watching the movie and I saw a couple of friends and I was like, holy shit, I didn't know he was in it. Like I saw several people that I know. I saw several
Man,
people that I've worked
I
with.
would have faked it. They were like, Slow-mo, are you limping? I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to like, do something a little different with the role. I'm trying to do like an exaggerated limp, just kind of like how he walks, like, oh, okay. Like
Yeah,
I would have did something. I'm not giving up no
man.
major role.
No, what happens is they say, Slow-mo, are you limping? And you're like, yeah, I don't know what happened. I think I might have stepped wrong or something. Because the last thing you want to do as someone who's not one of the main cast is that. Because they're like, oh, so you're changing things.
Oh, okay. I
Like,
got you.
yeah, it's basically earning trust, right? Even if you have a big resume, if you're not one of the main cast, then what you do is you do things the way they want it first, and then you might put a little bit of your flavor on it. And then when they see that you can do things and take direction and make adjustments, then they're like, so what do you think about this? Let them come to you and ask you, hey, or try something different. You know what I mean? They'll say, all right,
Mm.
that was awesome. We got it. Play around with it. Try something different. Do this or do that. Okay, now do this. Okay, that was great. Now do that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
and I know you were joking. But as far as something that you said earlier where they waited for Christopher Judge and they didn't wait for Ryan Hurst. The problem is this with the game, they don't have locations. So in
Yep.
film, they have to
Okay.
they
They
have to
got a
scout out
contract for a
locations.
location. They got to keep it. You
Yeah,
can't
they
keep
have
it
it for a certain
forever.
amount of time. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
But they filmed
that's the
4 episodes already. Like they
yeah,
and he's the
they
main
did.
character, so it's like that's all a waste. It's you have to you're gonna recast him.
Depending on how long his
All
his
the
his recovery
actors,
is.
yeah, all the actors, at least all the with the scenes that he's in, which is like damn near all of them. So like all the actors are gonna have to do those scenes all over again with a new dude. Crazy.
And
Yep.
depending on how big the actors are, they will be more than thrilled to do that. Because
Mhm.
Oh
I'll
man.
speak for myself. If I'm not a top build actor who has another project coming up after this one, or even if I am, like, if it's a good project and it's a good positive set and the director and the AD are everybody's good, and it's like, oh, you need to do reshoot. Okay.
Facts.
Because
Now, why are you happy about that?
no, I'm saying I would be happy to do reshoots
Okay, yeah, that's what I
because
mean. Well, like, why would you be happy to do reshoots?
because that's more work. Number one, like
Okay.
the
Do you get paid
what if
more?
it's well, no, you still get paid though. You get paid to, like, when you go on set to when you work on set, you get paid for that. So I
Mhm.
mean, if you already shot those scenes and they're like, hey, we need to reshoot all the scenes that you did, okay,
So they're paying
because
you
that's
again.
yeah,
Okay. All right. Makes sense then.
you're paid when you step on set, you're getting paid.
Now, is that
So
different for like a smaller actor
nope,
versus a
it doesn't.
bigger actor? Like bigger, like let's say like
Nope.
you're The Rock or something, and you just like, hey, look,
Oh, I see what you mean, like
we
contract.
paying you 20 million to do this movie. Now you gotta do reshoots. I mean, he's still getting paid 20
I see what
million
you
regardless, right? But if
He
you're
is. I'm not
but
sure about that. I'm not sure. You might be right about that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if they're already contracted, but that would be something that they would probably work out with the agent, because depending on what the contract looks like, and this is way beyond me, but it might be that they're paying them 20 million for the film, but maybe he has something coming up that's it's going to be a conflict or something like that.
Right, right.
It can all depend on the contract, and yeah, it probably just depends on how the contract was set up.
Okay. Yeah, pretty interesting. Thank you for that insight. That's information that us normies just don't get. We don't know any about this stuff. So.
Yeah, us Middle Earthers don't know about that type of stuff.
But look. Well, I don't want to make light. Look, maybe Ryan Hurst was actually pretty good. It's always those cases where people
Or he was terrible.
don't like, or I think he was probably terrible. But I don't think he's a bad actor. Like I've seen him in good stuff. Like I remember Remember the
Name
Titans. Remember the
Sons
Titans.
of Anarchy. I think, wasn't he in Sons of Anarchy?
He is in that, but I never watched that show. So I don't know how good he
What?
was. But Remember the Titans. He played the linebacker, the one that got crippled. Good in that. He was good in that. So look, I'm not saying he's terrible, but
Only
I
one
do think he
linebacker I
was.
remember.
What? Okay, so he
I want to say about that photo though, like they did him
dirty.
disservice
They did him
because
dirty.
here's
Yeah.
here's the thing, they put that photo out, and you never know how people are going to react. When they saw the reaction to that photo, all they had to do was pick some good moments from when they were filming and just release one other photo and make sure he looked really good in it. And then that gives people more confidence. But when they released the photo, okay, yeah, they didn't know how people were going to react. Okay.
It looked like
But
he
then,
was constipated or something, like he was bending over. It was just like, what is he doing?
No, that was them
Pose
telling.
Kratos
That
is-
was them saying we want to get rid of this dude and let's get the fans behind us by releasing this terrible picture.
I mean, but if that is the case, you just recast them. I've heard all kinds of, like, I'm not in the industry, like Ramon here, but I've heard the stories when people just get recast. It's just like, yeah, we want to go with some different direction.
But you never know though. He might have been doing a good job, and they just
Didn't like
this
him.
just happened. I mean, the photo, because people all like reacts negatively to everything. Like, look at when Ben Affleck was Batman. Everybody was all over him about that, and I remember too. I was like, Ben Affleck, I have trouble picturing that, but let's see how he does.
It was
I was
so
even telling a
bad.
friend, I was like, let's see.
I think
I thought
I think he has the
He's
best
different.
fight
I think he-
scenes as a Batman.
He
Out of all
does.
the Batman, he has the best fight choreography. Like his fight scenes are awesome.
But guess what? But everything else,
I don't think he was bad with everything. I mean, he wasn't
He
Val
wasn't
Kilmer.
bad.
Like Val Kilmer.
Now that's
Rest in
bad.
peace, Val Kilmer. But Val Kilmer was a terrible Batman. It's just
He
like
had Vicky Vale,
him and George
George
Clooney.
George Clooney though.
But he had-
George
he
I
had-
Clooney-
was gonna say
George-
him and
Batman
Val
shaking his
Kilmer
head.
and George Clooney are amazing actors, but they were the two worst Batmen.
Yeah, they just weren't fit. They just weren't right for that. The personality, like, you bring a lot of yourself to it, right? And some people just don't fit some roles. There's some actors can morph into anything, but then there's some actors that are great actors, but there's just certain material that just doesn't fit them.
Yeah, and that was one of them.
Yeah. All right, but look, I mean, like, I'm interested in seeing who they cast next, and I remember having a conversation about this, I think, earlier today, and someone was saying that, like, it wasn't like Ryan Hurst was the only person they spoke to for this role and he took it. They definitely did casting with other people, and so they probably got like a list of people who were close to getting it, but Ryan got it over them, and so they could probably go down that list of people and see, are you available? Are you still available? If you're not, then cool, we'll go to the next person. But they probably got like a handful of people that they can call and try to see if it will work out. And maybe this it ends up being a better fit overall than how things were going with Ryan. So we'll have to see.
We on that subject of Batman. The only thing I hated about Christian Bale's Batman is the fact that I always hated that he set the way he talked as Batman.
Yeah, it was
Like
very
his
overdone.
very over exaggerated. She said, "What is good in this world?" I'm sitting there like, what?
Joker,
Sound like
Joker.
this?
Like, what are you doing, bro? Why are you talking like
he
that?
said-
Like,
he
I
said,
know you're trying to
"You are the-
disguise your voice, but
the-
you just sound goofy. It's just what are you doing?
Like you're the best of us, and like, what are we doing? Why you sound like this?
Sutton is, where are the drugs? Where are like
drugs.
stop,
Where
please.
are
Like you don't
Swear to
sound
me.
like you don't sound intimidating. You're really making me want to laugh, and I don't want to laugh. And here's the other thing.
Like every time I watch
Here's the other
him
thing with Bale, and I don't know if it's on him. I don't know if he was the issue or if it was Nolan. I know no one, especially now with the Odyssey doing so great, no one wants to give Nolan any smoke. But the fight choreography in those Batman movies were not good, and I don't know if it was Bale just couldn't move in the suit or something. But like, I just remember one particular fight where like he runs in and just beats up a bunch of goons. It's just like it's like 30 cuts in 10 seconds, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? I can't even tell what's happening. Like all I see is
that's compensating for ability. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
and it's wild because I remember seeing Bale in I think it was called Equilibrium. He did it with Taya Diggs, and he was that fight choreography and that was really good. So maybe it was the fight coordinator that was just trash or something. I don't know, but I thought Bale was better.
It could have been the suit as well.
Man,
Yeah, he maybe
like
couldn't
he
move in the
was-
suit.
that man could not move in that suit.
Look, you get a better suit then. Like
Listen, it's probably the best suit that they made, though. It just didn't allow him freedom of movement.
Affleck's suit looked very like old school, but you can tell he had flexibility to do what he needed to do in it.
His suit was the only suit that had flexibility.
Everybody else
Yeah.
looked like they were.
Who's the other guy? Keaton,
like
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
Michael
couldn't turn his neck.
He couldn't turn his neck, which is
neck.
crazy. You're beating up all these bad guys, and like you can't turn. Like you literally have to turn your entire torso to look at somebody.
Listen, it just gets me like ever since I watched it, I was sitting there like, bro, he sounds like he's having an aneurysm every time he speaks. And there will be no Christopher Nolan slander on here at all.
Look,
because
it's not slander.
because
He's one of the best, but he ain't perfect.
Guess what? My daughter had never watched. So we've been going down the rabbit hole. So we watched like a couple weeks ago, we watched Project Hail Mary, amazing. Then we watched The Martian. And then for the first time, my daughter, we watched Interstellar. And I ain't gonna lie, I forgot how great I know Interstellar is amazing, but I was like watching this movie for like the 15th time with my daughter for the first time, and I was like, bro, this is such a freaking golden movie, bro. I love Interstellar, bro.
Interstellar is very good.
All right,
let's
good.
Let's get
And
into
then Christopher
this.
Nolan came on the screen, and I was like, golden.
Let's get into this next rapid fire, and instead of a rapid fire, I want to use a different sound.
Oh, really?
Because this one's gonna be pretty sad. So, Marathon game director Joseph Ziegler is leaving Bungie as of today, and this was revealed by Jeff Keighley earlier today. And when a game loses its director, and we already know that like it has not lived up to expectations with sales, with revenue, with number of players. It's a live service game. You need to have a healthy community of people playing your game, and you haven't reached those benchmarks at all. It don't seem like the game is long for this world. So Ramon, How long do you predict it would be before we get an announcement from Bungie and Sony that Marathon is no longer going to be supported?
I mean, definitely I see it being in 2027. I feel like, I mean, our old boy, Mr.
You wait a minute,
Congeniality.
you actually got it making it to 2027? Okay. Interesting.
Well, we're halfway there, so I can see it. I can see it going, finishing out 2027. I mean, not 2027, finishing out
2022.
2026,
Okay.
and then but as far as 2027, like the first quarter of 20, I don't know if it's gonna make it out of Q1 2027. I mean, let me ask this: does anybody know what the player counts are right now? Or do I need to
I
take a look?
mean, it's difficult to say total because you can't just readily pull the numbers for the other platforms, but we can always do so with Steam. I can take a look right
I've been
now
hearing it's been
on
tens
Steam
of
charts. It has not been kind
yeah, I've been
for
hearing it's been in like the
it's
tens of
currently
thousands.
right now at 6,000 players. And
Oh,
and 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 someone could
okay.
say, well, hey, slow-mo, it's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Maybe people are asleep. Maybe it's a weekend and people are out there having a life. That could be true. But its 24-hour peak is also 6,000 players. So I don't think that matters. Um
Okay.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
in light of that information, I'm I would be now. I'll be surprised if it makes it out of 2026. And with 6,000 total, with a 6,000 concurrent player base over 24 hours, yeah, it's not looking long for
Yeah.
this world.
Over the
Like,
past week on Steam, it has not been over 7,000 players.
okay, yeah. So, I'm thinking, uh, n- maybe sometime between autumn and winter.
Yeah, I was gonna
So,
say
yeah,
to play it safe before the video game awards.
yeah,
That before then
yeah,
they would basically say, "Hey, yeah, we moving on."
yeah.
Now,
With a player count like that, I don't think it's gonna make it out of the year.
so here's my theory. They've already got like a content release schedule already done. So like I feel like they'll just go ahead and release that stuff. The director's gone. They probably, what's the word when someone falls on their sword? The Japanese term begins with an
Oh,
S.
Hara Harakiri.
Is that it? I thought it began with an S. It was like
Yeah. Well,
seppukai or something like that.
seppuku is the female the female term for it, like when a
Oh,
female commits seppuku. But
well, he's a
for
dude. He's
for
a
men,
dude.
I
So
got it
yeah.
right. It's Harakiri.
Well, everyone gets what I'm saying here. That he basically is the one that got thrown under the bus for this. Even though I really don't. I think he probably did the best he could, honestly. But I mean, they've already put the work in for the content. I think they're just gonna release that, and then hopefully before they make the announcement that Marathon is no longer going to be supported, they would have got one of their prototypes approved for a new project so that they can then simultaneously announce that Marathon's no longer going to be supported, but we're also working on, like, we're going to keep the servers on the same way we're keeping Destiny 2 servers on, but Bungie's now working on a new game, whatever that is. It won't be Destiny 3, but something else, right? And so that way, some people would actually feel somewhat, I guess Bungie fans would feel somewhat, I guess happy about that. Hopefully a little bit more
Hey, Slomo.
positive about that, about their future.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Can I just? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to correct something real quick.
Hmm.
Seppuku and harakiri are exactly the same thing. There is no gender difference. It's just that seppuku, I think, is the more popular term, and that I don't think the Japanese used harakiri as much, but they're this exact same thing. So I just wanted to clear that up, so I'm not spreading misinformation.
Hey, no problem. I think I'll stop using terms I don't understand.
Well, no, I mean
No.
you knew what it was. You knew what it was. It's just
Hey, look,
I
I'll
I
just I'll just use throwing people under the bus because one, the visual is funnier, and it's just easy to get. But yeah, anyway, so like Zegler got drop kicked under a bus and then backed over. I think they'll announce that Marathon is no longer being supported when they have a project for Bungie to actually that's solid that they can actually put out there. Forte, what are your thoughts on that?
All right. Well, let me tell you what I think about that. Today we gather to remember Marathon, not the legendary trilogy that helped define Bungie in the 90s. Not this for the reboot, the game that was supposed to usher Bungie into the next era to prove that the studio could still be relevant instead of without losing the magic that made the people care in the first place. It had everything going for it. A legendary studio, an iconic name, a stunning visual identity, decades of goodwill built by Halo.
What are you reading?
I'm reading. I was ready for this one. Decades.
But what are you reading?
You're listening. Goodwill built by the Halo and Destiny players wanting to reasons to believe. They wanted Bungie to win. They wanted to return to the name that once meant ambition, polish, and confidence. And maybe that was the real mistake, SloMo. Maybe Bungie should have just pivoted to Destiny 3 instead of trying to force Marathon into being the future. At least then they would have been building on something players already cared about, instead of asking everyone to buy into a new dream while the old one was still unfinished. Instead, Marathon carrying the weight of the legacy it could never quite live up to, and every delay, every silence, and every awkward update only made that burden heavy. Instead, we watched the warning signs pile up: creative shakeups, delays, controversies, and shrinking player bases. A growing sense that the project was always one step behind its own ambitions, a feeling that the game was being asked to justify itself before it even had fully arrived. And now, just months after launch, the game director Joe Ziegler has announced his departure from Bungie, passing the leadership on to Dale. The captain leading the bridge doesn't always mean the ship is sinking, but when it happens this soon after launch, it's hard not to wonder. It's hard not. Wait, hold on. It's hard not.
What are you reading, and why are you reading the entire thing?
Listen, because I wrote this.
You wrote this?
Yes,
okay.
I wrote this.
It's hard
not. Yes, I wrote this.
So
it's hard not to
0% AI.
No, 0%. Well, a little.
That's what I thought. I mean,
Go ahead. You use good prompts, and then it's still in your words, but you use good AI, and it helps you like put your thoughts into. AI is good for some things. The unfinished plan.
This was right on board.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The promise is still hanging in the air and feeling like the ending was written long before anyone said it out loud. The game not to be heard, the silence around the game, and to realize that the silence could be louder than the trailer, which everybody heard. So today, I just mourn for the game. I mourn for what it could have been. I mourn for what the trailers that made people feel like it was hopeful until they found out that scandal was written throughout the whole entire thing. But the excitement still waned because people thought that Bungie would pivot back to the games that would actually make them money. But unfortunately, that ceased to exist. And with the closing of with the loss of a lot of their upper management, leaderships, developers, people that are leaving in drones, on top of a very serious situation where people are going to be leaving due to the fact that their stipends with their stock shares are going to be leaving. They're actually up, and we haven't heard the whole story on that yet. I mourn, but I'm excited because this slowly turns to skepticism, and I'm mourning the feeling of watching this studio that I love, the history, the struggle that made Bungie what they are. 30 seconds of fun. Marathon had none of that. Sorry, Joe Ziegler, that you had to deal with this situation. I'm sorry that Bungie and the leadership before you decided that this was the perfect way that they wanted to end the ride of this iconic studio, but this has been seen and this has always been forspoken to, because things don't just happen in a vacuum, especially when leadership forces it down your throat like they tried to do with this game. Rest in peace, Marathon. This game will not make it out of 2027 or 2026. This game will die on the pale horse, and unfortunately, everybody sees it coming. The end.
So you told AI write me a eulogy for a marathon.
That's exactly what it was.
I told
Right?
AI.
A eulogy for the
told-
video game marathon.
No, I told AI. I gave AI a probably about I want to say 2 paragraphs. No, 3 paragraphs of my thoughts of it, and then I said, make this sound like a eulogy.
I knew it.
It
I
makes it sound like a eulogy. And guess what? It actually it stayed pretty accurate to everything that I was saying. It just like kind of embellished a lot more of it. Man, AI is fucking scary, bro. I mean, freaking scary. It's scary as heck. It's so scary. That I was reading. I said, "Dang, this is pretty long," and it's actually a little bit more. But
we all know.
I didn't want to bore you with more, but yeah, honestly, to just answer it plainly, they're not going to make it out of 2026, bro. 6,000 people playing the game that's basically out with half a studio that's completely gone.
Or 6,000 only on Steam.
Yeah, on 6,000 only on Steam. You know, who knows? There's probably less people playing on console. There's probably less people playing on console, so who knows?
Chrono in the chat said you just made the RAM prices go up again. Asking AI to do that.
Yeah,
like, hey, guess what? Guess what? Maybe Microsoft can share some of that RAM with their console maker.
They won't.
They won't, unfortunately. They got to
I will never forget how Dome got up there and talked about the costs going up when he's one of the people responsible for it.
Right, exactly.
The call is coming from inside the house, man.
Exactly.
With that being said, SloMo, how long do you think? Because I already know your answer. You pretty much think this is the death nail for at least marathon. How long do you think it's gonna last, bro?
Look, definitely.
Is it gonna make it to the Game
Awards?
Awards?
No. They'll call it before the Game Awards. And then, but I think they'll basically try to have some good news with it. But hey, we're working on a new game, kind of thing.
It ain't Destiny 3 though.
Well, of course it won't be Destiny 3 because they need to make a profit. And so that's what I wanted to talk about because you and shout out to Lord Cognito. You know, I like to mess with him on this stuff. But a lot of Destiny fans think a Destiny 3 will work. And the reason why they don't agree that it's Sony is because Destiny is not profitable. Like it makes a lot of money, but by the way the development pipeline was designed, it also spent more money than it made. And so this is why it's always been a loser when it comes to making money.
I don't think it was a Sony issue. Like I said, I don't blame Sony for not making it. I wouldn't make it either. That's why I said in the thing, they should have pivoted as Bungie. Why would you pivot away from the thing that's making you all your money to make something that is unproven? Like, this is all a Bungie thing. Just like I said, when Bungie left Activision, this isn't an Activision problem. This is a Bungie problem.
Well, maybe they pivoted to Marathon.
They had to pivot because it wasn't making enough money.
Exactly. So maybe they pivoted to Marathon because it would have used less resources. And they thought they would have more potential to make more money. But
you have to have a game that can supplement you. Like, you can't just pull everybody off your moneymaker and expect people to stick with it. Like,
but again, Forte,
the game. But Forte, you keep calling it a moneymaker when they're bleeding money.
Listen, okay, so. This is the thing they should, or they just come. This is the thing they should have did. Then they could have just came out and said that, hey, Destiny 2 is at end of life. We're basically going to put it on autopilot, and we're going to start working on these other projects and let people know what these other projects are.
That's what they did.
Or not even that, or even this. The thing is, everybody keeps talking like Destiny has to be what Destiny is today. This money pit that always is take, not give. It doesn't have to be that. The player base.
But Forte, you already know the player base. The player base would have a conniption if the game
because they
wasn't
never
designed
tried.
the way it was. Like if they didn't have these massive expansions on an annual basis, player base would have lost their mind.
They didn't have it for the first 2 years. The first with Destiny.
Well, yeah, for the first 2 years.
For the first 2 years.
But once it was established, it was expected.
Yeah,
and if
you
they
had
were
a
making
cadence.
Guess what? Guess what? People, especially okay. So this is the thing. There's somewhere around 70,000 people playing Destiny right now. Those 70,000 people is the hardcore. Those people would not care. Those people would not mind a scale back in what it is to go back to what it was when it was working. Because guess what? When they were working with Activision, that is the best that Bungie has ever been. They had support studios helping them. And it's the thing. They can still have those same things. They can still have that same brought under thing, because guess what? They went 2 years. They did a small expansion in the middle year, and they did a major expansion every 2 years, and that was perfect for them. But the problem wasn't
perfect because they weren't making enough money.
No, they couldn't stick to deadlines. And Activision
Forte,
was like, brother,
they also were not making enough money.
Brother, they was making enough money, dog.
Did
you
weren't.
See the report? No, did you see the report that how much money they did and how much money they burned? Like, not on just trivial things like rebuilding. How much money did they put into that? What was it? $500-something million that they put into their or not 500 million, like $60 million that they put into the new the building to add on to the building for the Bungie headquarters. Like, why are we expanding the studio? Why are we spending $50 million to do that?
Because they had 800 developers.
They had 800 developers in the building before, and guess what? None of that even mattered because none of it was being real. It's not like they had a world-class capture studio like in Ninja Theory had. It wasn't like they had this amazing, theater that, they did have a really good theater that they would watch people do live world first, which was one of the things that they built, a theater that they can show off to everybody where they can come into the studio and show off the game and everything. They built that into the thing. Like, what is that? Why do you need that? Why do you need stuff like that? For a company that was struggling, like you said, struggling to keep money because Destiny cost so much money to run, they also spent a lot of money on stupid stuff that they didn't need to spend money on. So they definitely could have scaled back, and the players would have definitely understood, because guess what? At the end of the day, we fell in love. Like, dude, people fell in love with Destiny for way less than what Destiny is now. Like, Destiny over the last 3 years was way less when people loved it even more.
They could have
definitely did something
different.
They were
in the red even back then.
They were in the red then. They were in the red halfway through Destiny 2 when they had to do that whole turnaround with the Forsaken, because they said the studio was on death's door, and then that's when they came out with their best DLC, which was Witch Queen, which basically turned the fortunes around.
It has always been in the red.
They said, go look at all the, they wasn't in the red for a while. They were in the red for like the last, what parts of the development of Destiny? Like the last, 2019 and forward? You tell me how a studio that's in the red can buy their independence back from Activision and still own the rights to the studio, to the game.
Well, they won. Activision never owned them. They didn't have to buy their independence.
But
Activision didn't care about the IP. That's why Activision gave it to them, because they weren't making money.
Okay.
Activision was on the bill for yes, they owned Destiny.
No, they didn't. They didn't own Destiny. They didn't own Bungie. They were just in a partnership.
Owning Destiny and owning Bungie are two different things.
No.
Yes.
Activision didn't own Destiny. Activision basically helped fund Destiny with the $500 million stipend they gave up front for marketing and helping build the first two games. Now they just let them go scot-free with the game and without even fighting for a part of it because they ain't even because basically I think Destiny at that point already paid back the $500 million loan. In the first the first year. I think it was actually in the first couple of weeks of the game being out that loan got paid back. So they weren't even on the hook for money at that point anymore. The only hook they were on for is all the time and development of
Instead of owning the IP, they had the publishing. They had full publishing rights.
They had the publishing rights for
it. They gave the publishing rights back
to Bungie.
To Bungie. You don't do that if you think this thing is can be profitable. You don't just say, nah, you go ahead and take that. Look, Microsoft still got the publishing rights for Quantum Break, which they were super upside down, over $100 million upside down on that, from how much Remedy spent on developing it to how much it actually made, and they still got the publishing rights. They still won't give them back to Remedy, even though what are you sitting on? So companies are
Microsoft
bullish.
Ain't giving nothing up.
Well, I mean, most companies ain't giving anything up. Companies are bullish on IPs and publishing rights. And so for them to just give it back to Bungie, it's only because they said we ain't making no money off of this. So what's the point?
And then PlayStation allowed them to say that they were going to be the stewards and they could do whatever they wanted with it until the money ran low.
Yeah, so long story short, they ain't making a Destiny 3.
No, they're not.
If
don't whatever even have people to make it anymore.
See, but that gets back to what you were saying about doing a different kind of Destiny, or do something that would be profitable. Because a lot of the cost of the reason why it's not profitable is the amount of people, like the salaries, the medical benefits, all that stuff for the amount of people over the amount of years that are developing on the game. That's the biggest cost there. So that costs too much when you got 800 plus developers making a game. If they can find a way to alter the game design where you don't need as many people. I mean, they're like half that studio size now. We're like 300-400 people at this point. So you couldn't, unless you restaffed up to try to do that.
It's a wrap, bro. It's over.
That's not happening. Sony's not.
That should have happened in 2019. That studio is done. That's once Sony took over and they gutted half the studio. They went from 1,600 people to 1,200 people to 800 people. Now they're down to 400 people. It's a wrap, bro. The studio is cooked.
Yeah, more than likely, if they can't get something greenlit before this year is up, it's a wrap for them. I think it will be 2027. We'll get the announcement they're shutting them down.
They'll have more people, and they'll have more people working on that Gummy Bears thing. They'll take who's valuable.
But even then, you're only going to take the people that you need. Gummy Bears game. We don't know the scope of it, but if you only need 100 devs for that, and you already got 80. Out of the 400 that's at Bungie, you're going to take 20-25 people, move them over there, and tell the rest, good luck out there. Fortunately.
Good luck.
It's just...
hopefully they keep the people who are good at the shooting mechanics and physics and everything, because those guys are really good.
Yeah, they have good, not the best gunplay.
Best in injury.
No, it's not. But it's good. It's good gunplay. It's very good.
What's
it's
better?
Not the best. Everything.
What's better?
Everything.
Sure. Yeah. You see when a person doesn't give you a direct answer and says,
okay.
wrong.
Activision's better. DICE is better.
What?
DICE is better. DICE has got better gunplay.
As much as I love DICE, that's absolutely not true.
It is actually true. Halo Infinite has better gunplay.
Absolutely not true.
Yeah, very true. But yeah,
this is hating genes coming out now, but whatever.
Embark has better gunplay.
Yep, this
with
is
the finals.
You know what? I cannot even listen to you in your hating ways right now.
Okay.
The least you could do is be honest with yourself right now.
I am being honest. Only people who think that Bungie has the best gunplay in the industry are Bungie fans. And it's kind of like sports, where you the only people who think their team is going to win the Super Bowl is fans of the team. There's a reason. There's a reason why you feel that way. You're a little biased. That's all right. It's okay.
Mhm.
But it's just
Do you
not
think
reality.
do you think the Redskins are going to win the Super Bowl this year?
Absolutely not.
Oh my god.
First of all, the
Exactly.
Redskins don't exist no more. You mean the Commanders, and they
the Commanders.
they also won't win the Super Bowl this year. I'm a realist.
Guess what?
You know
The
what I'm
Lions
saying?
won't win the Super Bowl, and I even said the Patriots last year, even though they made it to the Super Bowl, I said there's no way we're winning.
They had no business being there. Should have been Denver.
They sure didn't. Bo Nix broke his leg in the game before, and
right. If Bo Nix is healthy, they're the ones taking the L to the because neither one of them was beating Seattle. But still, anyway,
no,
it's
yeah,
not
Seattle was prime.
This is not a sports
Shout out
podcast.
to Mooch. Sports.
Right. Yeah, shout out to Mooch, Crossfire. Let's get into this final topic. And this final topic will be about good old Bethesda. And what's the announcement? Why does this keep happening? Once an episode, this happens where I'm like, hey, wait a minute, where did the oh, you know what? I did. That's on me. That shows the wrong source.
SloMo,
Okay, anyway.
Mister, I need you to talk about the controller real quick. My brother just saw, he's behind me. He just saw a which one was it? Razer what? The Razer Wolverine 2, the wireless controller.
It's trash.
SloMo said it's trash. He said, yeah, it was $95 SloMo on sale.
I mean, for $95, I mean that's it's on sale for a reason though. Know that.
This is $95. That's not
hold on.
bad. He said,
This is the
He said it's
two.
on sale for a reason.
This is the 2 and not the 3.
Was it the 2 or the 3, Keith? It was the 2.
Oh yeah, don't buy that. Not even for
He
$95.
said
Don't buy that.
Yeah, he said don't buy that even for $95.
The only
I wish you
good Razer controller that's decent is the 3.
Is the Razer 3? Yeah,
the
that's what I thought,
Razer Wolverine 3 is the only one that's decent. The 2 is I wouldn't spend $10 on that to get $95.
Damn, you wouldn't even spend $10 on it to get it?
Nah.
I wish you made videos about this, SloMo.
Oh my god. Anyway, so look, Bethesda
Continue.
had an announcement today. Very big announcement. And in light of the major layoffs that occurred last week, Bethesda has provided a roadmap of what their plans are for the foreseeable future. When it comes to Starfield, which I have shown on the Jumbotron right now, they'll continue to expand the game with new stories, more gameplay improvements, and additional updates while preparing to launch new content next year. So I guess you can probably look forward to a big expansion like they just did recently next year. For Fallout 76, they have a major expansion for that planned for next year called Raven Rock. It's going to be a prequel story to Fallout 3. For you Fallout fans, I'm pretty sure that'd be pretty interesting. Although I'm pretty sure most Fallout fans are a little bit more excited for some of this other stuff here. But I'm gonna get through it all, and we can discuss it point by point. ZeniMax Media Online is still working on Elder Scrolls Online, but it appears they will be working with Bethesda Game Studios to help them develop Elder Scrolls 6. And finally, for the Fallout IP itself, Fallout 5 is a long-term goal for them to make after Elder Scrolls 6. But in the meantime, Obsidian will be working on a brand new Fallout game with the lead director from Pentiment, Josh Sawyer, leading the team on that. And they have also confirmed there are remakes of Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas currently in development. So let's start from the very top again. Starfield updates. They're still working on Starfield content. First, did you guys play Starfield? I don't think we've ever really had this kind of discussion. Matter of fact, I'm fairly certain, Forte, you played it. I think we talked about that years ago, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Ramon, have you played Starfield?
I have.
Okay. All right. So are you guys looking forward to any further updates on it? For myself personally, I guess I still haven't got the taste of that first expansion out of my mouth. Pause.
What was it? Shattered Space or something?
It was not good.
Shattered Space.
It was not good.
Yeah,
And
I heard it was terrible.
yeah, and I haven't played the next one. I think that came out earlier this year. I haven't played that one yet. So I can't speak on that one. I just think Shattered Space was not good, and it just really kind of I like Starfield. I think it's a good RPG. I don't think it's great. I think it's good. I just don't really have the desire to go back like that. What do you guys think?
Well, for me, I played so the first time I played it, I played and I made the mistake of playing it at the wrong time. And what I mean by that is I had just built my PC and there were a bunch of games that I wanted to play and I kind of just streamlined like I just like beeline the main story with only like a couple side quests. And it wasn't because I wasn't enjoying the game. It was just like, you know how like you got a buffet and all the food is good, but you like, oh, I want to try this, I want to try that. And then what ended up happening was I was enjoying Starfield, but I got to the end and I wasn't properly leveled. And, you know, I was getting mopped. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to retreat and then build myself up. Well, you can get away, but you can't do anything else. So once you're at that final battle, yeah, you can escape and
Oh,
you
you
can go
you you
to
you you reached the
places.
point of no return. Wait a minute, you didn't have multiple
Yeah.
saves?
Nope. Well, I
Ramon,
had
come on, man. This is
man,
RPGs 101. You gotta have multiple save points, baby. You gotta have
I
multiple
didn't.
save points. You got just to
I
make
rarely.
sure that in case you get into or especially with a Bethesda game,
And see, that
you
was my
you don't get
mistake
into
because
like a
Starfield was
bug
my
issue.
second Bethesda game. Starfield was only my second Bethesda game,
Oh, okay, okay.
and I rarely play those types. Like I'm still relatively green with Western RPGs,
Yeah.
and for like other than autosaves, I typically only have one autosave and one manual save. I've always been like that. So, I got to that point. I was like, all right, I'll retreat. And I was like, I can't do anything else. So I was stuck. So I've been planning to go back and do a replay all over again because I did enjoy it. Like kind of like you, like I don't think it was great. I thought it was a little bit better than good, which is enough for me to go back and replay it because I did enjoy what was there. You could the I didn't appreciate the one thing that I didn't appreciate was the deep dive when they're talking about you could collect 7 million sandwiches and I'm like, oh, okay, waste the resources, what else you got? Oh, we have 50 million planets. Oh, okay, well, waste the resources, what else you got? Like they could have, but we've talked about that ad nauseum. But in spite of those flaws, I did enjoy it enough that I do want to return to it and do a fresh playthrough, and I do want to get Terran Armada. It is in my wish list.
That's the second
Shattered Space,
expansion?
Shattered Space. Yeah, that's the second one.
Okay.
I'm not gonna bother with Shattered Space because I saw enough on that to know to avoid it. So if they have new content coming, I'm cool with it because I do eventually want to jump back into it and actually allow myself to sit back and enjoy it and take my time with it because I do think there's a lot of good there. It's not greatness, but there's a lot of good there that's enough to justify it for me. So
Yeah, I feel you.
that's kind of where I'm.
Well,
Yeah, I'll
I'll tell you this. Always do multiple game saves, and I'll give you an example. So, like, and this is with Starfield. I ran into a game breaking bug where I had to go back several hours. I had to go back to a game save that was several hours back because I could not get out of this loop. So essentially, I got to a certain point in the game where this guy that's always at the lodge, the lodge where like your
yeah.
organization is headquarters is, and this dude he's only there, you never see him anywhere else, and he needed to have, for some reason, he needed to have this conversation with me. And he and the blonde girl, Sarah Morgan, they were both supposed to be involved in the conversation. It got so aggravating that like it did not matter what I was doing. Sarah Morgan would hunt me down like the Terminator to have this conversation. And because I'm out in the universe, in the galaxy, doing other stuff, I'm on my ship. I'm not on, I forgot the name of the planet, the main planet. I'm not on that planet. the conversation is broken because this guy's got to be there to have the conversation and he's not there. And so the game will be just stuck waiting for him to respond across the galaxy. And
Oh my
I
god.
I even had a recording because I literally was like trying my best to like I would get in my ship and I would run to the cockpit before she would catch me to try to get the ship off the ground so I could go somewhere else, right? And so once
He's
I
running from her like she owed her money.
like right, so when I realized she was what like other people had this bug and people were saying, yeah, it's the dude at the logs. You gotta get to the logs to have a conversation to get out of this loop. I'm like, all right, let me try to get there. So I got to the planet and I'm literally like standing outside. I had a screenshot of it. I'm standing outside my ship at the spaceport and she's looking for me. Sarah Morgan's looking for me. She's like, I see her walking around trying to catch me. And I'm just like, she eventually does. And I can't get out of the loop. I had to basically just give up and go back to like 2 or 3 hours of gameplay I lost. Went back to an earlier game save before this bug occurred. And as soon as I went back, I went straight to that lodge and had that conversation so that I would not be in that loop. And it was just all kinds of stuff that would happen. Like
Talk to her.
that one black dude that's like the head of like some kind of like Starfleet organization. I can't remember the name of him, but like I haven't like I was trying to have a conversation with him. It was a very important conversation for that quest, and he just started floating into the air, and he just like out of the ceiling, and I'm just like. Every time I walked into the room, he would start floating into the air. I would try to start the conversation before he would get up there, but it didn't matter because like he can't respond to me. I'm just like these bugs were frustrating. And Ramon,
That's kind of hilarious though.
let me tell you, Ramon, that is the most polished Bethesda game there is.
Oh,
With
man.
all those bugs, that's the most polished one. So you can just imagine what people have been dealing with and the reason why their nickname is Bethesda, because the bugs are freaking legendary and get to the point, where their fans are like, oh, it's charm. Like, no, it's not charm. It's that's cope. That's what that is. Anyway. Anyway, yeah, that game's pretty buggy. But I think it's gotten as far as like polished, and they definitely said they're gonna expand the tools so the modders can do more with it because it's gonna come a certain point in time where they're gonna stop supporting Starfield as much as
Yeah.
they are right now, and then that's where the modding community comes into play, and then they go buck wild and stuff. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are looking forward to that. But anywho, Forte, any thoughts on their content with Starfield before we move on?
So remember when we talked about Redfall and how long it took for them to make a 60 frames per second update and to fix all this stuff in the game?
Yeah,
And we say too long, too little, too late. Nobody's going to want to go back and play the game. Now, this game probably will have a lot of people go back and play because it is a Bethesda. It's a bigger Bethesda game, and there are people that enjoyed the game. But for myself, nah, bro. I moved on a long time ago. It sounds interesting, but I don't even. It's almost at a point now because with that type of game, I would want to start over, and I'm not going to start over and play that game again. It's just not going to happen. So that's how I feel.
I do think that something that I found very innovative about Starfield is the way they do New Game Plus. So essentially, and I mean, it's been a few years now, so I can say this. I mean, it is what it is. But like, there's this whole thing about being a Starborn. I'm not gonna get into
Starborn.
details about that, but essentially, they have incorporated New Game Plus into the narrative, into the story. So when you do New Game Plus, you're literally the same character, the same version of that, like the character that you did in the first game, with the same levels and everything. You don't get to keep all your weapons, unfortunately, but you do get to keep I think you get to keep your level and all that, and how powerful you are. But like, it's like a different multiverse Like certain things will be a little different here and there, you know. Like so it's very interesting take on New Game Plus. I thought that was well done, and you can really like the different permutations that will occur as you continue to keep doing more New Game Pluses. I know people who really went deep in it, and they really found it very fascinating and good. So if anyone's who's thought of, hey, look, maybe I can just start over, maybe finish the game and then get into New Game Plus, and then you're essentially are kind of starting over, but you didn't all the progress you made previously isn't like a waste of time. Yeah. Anyway, we can move on. We can move on because this thing, everyone's talking about isn't really about Starfield. It's about this other stuff now. Let's discuss this Fallout stuff here. So I have some thoughts on this. Now, Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas getting remakes. That's great. That's great. They need it. Like they're very very old dated games. Talking 360, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 generation. That's, you know, you can play it now, but do you want to? Not really. Not without extensive mods, that is. So sure, it makes sense that they're gonna go ahead and remake those, especially considering they really got caught with their pants down, not realizing how great the Fallout TV show was going to be. And if they could do it all over again, they probably would make sure that they had some kind of Fallout gaming content available um, when the game launched. But I mean, not sorry, when the TV show launched, but they didn't, and so you know we are where we are. But it's good that those are going to get done, likely by a third party studio or like someone like Virtuous who did the Oblivion remakes. Maybe they got them set to do those. That said, Obsidian's working on a brand new Fallout game. It could be Fallout New Vegas 2. We don't know. It could be a brand new kind of spin-off in the Fallout universe. But Bethesda Game Studios is still doing Fallout 5. And considering their development pipeline and how long it's been since, you know, they had first announced Elder Scrolls 6, and that's still a few years away. This Fallout 5 probably ain't coming to like 2036. You know, I mean, and people may say, "Oh, go ahead, Slow man. You exaggerating." No, I'm not. Because if you think it's 2026 right now, let's say it'll be realistic to say this. It'll be
Be on
realistic to
season
say,
9 of the Fallout show at that point.
well, I don't think the Fallout show will go beyond season 5. At least a good TV shows hit season 5 and they go wrap it up. You know, before it gets too before it jumps the shark, as they say, before it gets too long in the tooth, right?
Before it turns into Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, right. Like you don't want to,
Yeah, before they go ridiculous and get long in the tooth. Yeah.
right. So you ended that season 5. Let's say it takes you about. They're working on season 3 now. Season 3 probably come out next year. So let's say if you do 2 more seasons after that, let's say it's like 2031 at that point. You still a few years off from a Fallout 5. Now, sure, you got the Fallout Obsidian game, and you got these remakes coming, and they're probably gonna sell great, like Oblivion sold great, because you got new Fallout fans out there from the TV show, and they likely never played New Vegas, they've never played Fallout 3, and they're gonna play them, and it's gonna look modern and all that good stuff. It's gonna have all the bugs they love from, you know, the charm. And so that's fine. But for the gaming, the hardcore gamers, the hardcore Fallout fans, are you? Because I see a lot of debate here. There are people who don't like Obsidian's Fallout game, New Vegas. They feel it's not as deep in the systems as Bethesda's versions are. And there's some that feel like New Vegas is the best one. So I kind of wonder if there are people who are upset that Todd Howard is still holding on to Fallout 5, because to get like an actual next entry in the main series, you know, you're gonna have to wait almost a decade. So, what are your thoughts on this, Forte?
Um, I just think at a certain point, people just need to get out. Like, dude, until Todd Howard leaves Bethesda and is long and gone, he is just gonna do what he wants to do with that franchise. That's his baby. That's his baby. So it's just gonna be how it is. I am one of those people that believe that New Vegas is probably the best Fallout game that's come out. It's pretty good. I think some of the systems that they have in regular Fallouts or not regular, but just the mainline Fallouts
Mhm.
are good to an extent, but I also think they put way too much into the overall systems. Like they make it more than it needs to be. They it's like more complicated than it needs to be. Like the
Mhm.
VAT system. Why is it so? It could just be so straightforward, but it makes you go into menus and this to highlight spots, and then you can now great you can it goes faster if you upgrade it and stuff. But why do we even have to go through that just to get to the ultimate way the VAT system should have worked in the beginning? So I do think that they do
Or you could
really.
just have good gunplay, so you don't really.
Or
Let me stop. Let me
exactly, you
stop. Let
don't
me
even
stop.
have to do that. It's
Just-
like it's
just-
like it's like, why is it so complicated to do pretty much anything unless you have the right skill sets? Like it's just you know I think about Mass Effect.
Hey, real quick.
I can go ahead.
I think Satnus just said something in the chat that
What's that?
so he just said, I was never that into New Vegas like that. I resent how much it's been steamrolled and weaponized against the ones I do like. And I think that sentiment, and I'm not saying Satnus is like hating New Vegas, but I see I've I'm not a big Fallout fan. I'm not a big Bethesda
Right.
fan like that because I've always been more on the side of BioWare from this tree. A lot of people
Same.
don't
Me too.
realize that all these Western RPG developers, In Exile, Bethesda, Obsidian, and BioWare all came from the same publisher slash developer Interplay. And so it's the reason why so many of their games have a lot of the same like roots and foundation with the narrative trees and stuff like that because they're using the same tool set. You're using the same toolkit. It's all the same stuff. And they all used to work together. So it makes sense, right? But they all have a different spin on how they do things. And BioWare is very more cinematic, more story focused, more like it's less freedom. And then you got Bethesda, which is a lot of freedom, a lot of just exploring and getting into side quests, and the side quests are super deep. And then you get Obsidian, which is very much like a mix of the two,
Yeah.
like because Obsidian did Knights of the Old Republic 2, which was pretty good. It was pretty great
It's really
actually.
good.
And they've done Fallout New Vegas. They've been like a mix of those two. And in Exile was the isometric RPG or Western RPG segment of it all. But I bring all that up because for me, I've always been I'm down with BioWare, so I haven't really cared too much about this, but I just remember New Vegas coming out and people saying, "Oh, this is great." I did see some people because it's just as buggy as the other
Yeah.
Bethesda games, right? So, but it's just weird to me because I see the people, and maybe Satnus can in the chat can speak to this. I've seen the people complain about Obsidian's bugginess, but I'm like, Bethesda is nicknamed Bugthesda. Like their games are buggy too. So like, why is it okay for Bethesda to have bugs, but not Obsidian? I don't know. Like it just seems that there is. I'm not saying quite a double standard, but I have
Right.
never seen as much um criticism for New Vegas as I've seen in the past, say, month. I haven't seen this amount of people saying they don't prefer those games at all, and I wonder if it's
Right.
because because there's been this rumor out there that I quite believe that Well, here I'm gonna say the stuff that's confirmed, and then the rumor. What's confirmed is that at one point, Obsidian was working on a new Fallout game, and then that got nixed. And the rumor side of it is that Todd Howard was the one that nixed it. He didn't want them making another Fallout game, and so then Josh Sawyer continued on. They were going to retool the game that was going to be a Fallout game to be a new IP, and then from there, with all the changes that's been made, and Asha is in charge, and now Asha's all like, all she cares about is the big IPs that they have. Now that Fallout game is going to happen again, whether Todd Howard likes it or not. Rumored he doesn't like them making it. So it's just, I think there's some people who are like in defense of Todd Howard here, where they're like, well, Bethesda, even though Bethesda did not create the IP, don't know, this. In Exile made the first two, Fallout games. So is what it is, right? But people they're fans of Fallout 3, fans of Fallout 4, and they feel those games are superior, and they only want to see Todd make those games. I just find it, and maybe Forte, you can explain it, maybe you understand it, but I mean, like, I even heard a lot of rumors that Todd Howard wasn't going to be working on games forever, that he may retire after Elder Scrolls 6. So like, you might not even have him for Fallout 5. Also, I would say, considering how quickly, now I can say this last part, you can go.
No, good.
Obsidian has dropped more games than any other Xbox published game, Xbox studio that has published games. They have dropped more games since they've been acquired than anyone else. It would not surprise me at all if they could drop this new Fallout game they're doing and do Fallout 5 before Bethesda could do Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5. So if you're really a Fallout fan, wouldn't you want this game sooner?
Yep.
Sooner than you having grandkids? I don't know. What do you think, Forte?
Or your grandkids having grandkids?
Brother. people don't realize that there have been people haven't realized that there has been so Fallout 4 came out in 2016, I believe.
Let me double check. That sounds about right, but I'll double check.
Yeah, it's either 2015 or 2016. There were literally, and Elder Scrolls came out 11/11/11. The fact that there has been two mainline, well, just two Grand Theft Auto games since the last Bethesda game, since the last Elder Scrolls, like brand new release of Elder Scrolls.
Fallout 4 came out November 2015.
2015. Yep. So basically Bethesda proper studios, main studio, has released one game.
Fallout 3 came out in 2008. So it was a 7-year difference between
7-year gap. So 7 years.
And that's at a time where the development cycles weren't as long as they are now. Like typically back then it used to take you like 3 or 4 games. I'm sorry, 3 or 4 years to make a game.
My kids are gonna have kids, and their kids gonna have kids by the time this game comes out, bro. It's just crazy when you sit there and you think about it and you like look and say, I understand having a want to make sure everything's right, to have the perfect story and everything in line, but you can't release one mainline Elder Scrolls game in the time that it takes the slowest studio of mankind, Rockstar, to make a Grand Theft Auto game, and they released 2 of them. It's so at a certain point, like, I think Todd Howard is not that he's the problem; he's just very controlling of the IP. I do think that Obsidian, and this was a lot of pressure on Obsidian too, because I feel like a lot of people know that. A lot of people believe that New Vegas is probably one of the better Fallout games. And since we haven't had, a since 2015, a true, release of a Fallout game. It's going to put some pressure on them to actually deliver on what Bethesda is still trying to figure out, however long it's going to take them to make Fallout 5. And then the thing is, if let's say this game does, because I guarantee, like you said, so I agree. I think this game that they're making is going to release before Fallout 5 does. Then what happens
You mean
after that?
Obsidian's game?
Obsidian's game is going to
Yeah.
release before Fallout 5.
Absolutely.
So what kind of pressure, especially if the game's good, what kind of pressure is that going to put on Todd Howard?
That game might release the same year as Elder Scrolls 6. That's how fast.
That would be crazy.
Obsidian
works fast.
Yeah, so it's just like it might. Let's say it takes another 2 years, 2 or 3 years to come out with Elder Scrolls 6. So we're talking 2030. Wait, no, 2-3 years. I'm sorry. My math is bad tonight. 2028 to 2029, right?
We believe in you.
Think about how quickly Obsidian made The Outer Worlds, which was 2019, I think. Yeah, 2019. Then The Outer Worlds 2 came out last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so that's 2. We got a Grounded 1, a Grounded 2, we got a Pentiment, and we got Avowed. That's 6 games.
And Avowed even got delayed because they didn't they have to overhaul it or something, do it restart it.
Yeah, they did have to reboot the game at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, they had to reboot it, and with all of that, they still got all those games out.
Yeah. So
6 years.
Now imagine now that they've canceled, even though they still got they've officially canceled Avowed 2, but they still got a team working on it. It's probably pre-production or whatever. They're probably going to try to pitch it again, try to get it out there. You got your team that's working on Grounded 2, but it's still a small team working on Grounded 2. And I forgot the developer that's helping them, but they got a developer as a support studio doing a lot of the grunt work because Grounded 2 is bigger than Grounded 1. But you're not doing all that other stuff that you were doing before. You're working, you got Grounded, you got a small team trying to get Avowed 2 off the ground, and you got everyone else working on Fallout, which, Obsidian in the past, and since they've been acquired by Xbox, has been working on 4 different projects at once. Now you're not doing that, so you got more resources going towards your main game, which is this new Fallout game. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that comes out same time as Elder Scrolls. And if that's the case, going into it's not like a race or anything. But you go into a Fallout 5, sure, that's probably in getting prototyped or within a in concept phase right now, or pre-production, maybe even pre-production right now for Bethesda. But they're not going to work on it really in production until they're done with Elder Scrolls 6. And just Obsidian just seems to have a faster cadence on this stuff. That said, for those who are on the side of Bethesda, they look at something like The Outer Worlds or Avowed, and they say, this is a good RPG, but it's not Bethesda. Which is still I think when it comes to this new Fallout game that they're working on, what's going to be really important is knowing which engine is on, because they announced that Creation Engine 3, which would be the updated version of Creation Engine, is going to be what Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5 is made from. But if this new Obsidian Fallout game is using Creation Engine, then I think you're going to get a lot of that typical Fallout stuff that you like from Bethesda, where you can just, you break into someone's house and they're there, and you try to steal their loaf of bread. They're going to react to that kind of stuff. Whereas in Avowed, you could steal from someone's home and they don't do anything. They don't, it's not that deep in Avowed or The Outer Worlds. Actually, that might have... No. In The Outer Worlds, do think maybe I'm thinking about a different game. I can't remember. But anyway, I think if Obsidian is using Creation Engine for Fallout, this new Fallout game, you're gonna get a lot of the kind of things that you expect from a Fallout game. But if it's not, all their other games are running on Unreal Engine. If that's the case, then I can get why some of the Bethesda fans would be like, yeah, you know what? Go ahead and let Bethesda do Fallout 5. Because Creation Engine and how that works is very, very important to how those games are developed and how systems in them work and how they're played, as well as how extensive mods get. If you don't have Creation Engine, then you don't have those things. You're definitely not getting that from Unreal. Just because, by the way, I mean, you probably could, but it would take a lot of extra work that I don't think Obsidian's going to put in. So I don't know. I'm kind of rambling at this point. Anything else you guys want to say on this before we wrap this up?
I think it's going to be interesting to see how they juggle, like because now that they're all under the same roof,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you know, they can, there could be a little more collaboration. Jason Schreier got to interview Todd Howard, and Jason Schreier dropped a video that I listened to today, and he basically went over his interview with Todd Howard. And he was talking about, he asked some questions about, why it took so long and things like that, and of course he sidestepped a lot of those questions, but
Of course.
they're per the interview anyway. I mean, of course he's not going to say, oh, I can't stand the guy, but they're supposedly on good terms, he and what is it, why am I drawing a blank on the head of Obsidian, Peter
Oh,
Moore.
no. You mean Fergus?
Fergus.
You said the
Or
head
maybe I'm
of
thinking about,
Obsidian?
yeah, Josh Sawyer.
No, well, Josh Sawyer is the lead director for this game,
Okay,
but he's not the
maybe.
head of Obsidian.
Okay, well, maybe that's who I'm thinking of. But he was saying, they're on, they're on good terms. Everything is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. The
Yada
head
yada.
of Obsidian is Fergus Urquhart,
Rod Ferguson.
Urquhart, Ur- Ur-
Oh,
Urquhart, Urquhart. Okay, I can't pronounce that last name, but
Farquhar.
King Farquhar, Prince Farquhar
Yeah,
from Shrek.
Farquhar.
Yeah. No, but his Fergus. We're gonna call him Fergus. Fergus is his first name. That's the
Fergus.
studio head.
Okay.
Now, Josh Sawyer
Okay.
was the director for Pentiment.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember well, who then. I don't want to say the wrong person, but yeah, he got to do an interview with him, and per the interview, he's pretty positive on things, and it sounds like they're full steam ahead. It'll be
To be
interesting.
clear, he did Pentiment. He did both of the Pillars of Eternity games, and he did Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, okay. So I might be thinking about Josh Sawyer because of the Fallout New Vegas thing,
Yeah,
since
yeah.
apparently, bringing those back. But yeah, I think because they're all under the same roof now, and if he wasn't just being nice because PR, and it actually is true that they're all on good terms, that maybe there could be some collaboration, between them. I mean, obviously both teams are going to be super busy with their own projects, but hopefully there could be a little bit of cross pollination where if they're using the creation engine for both projects, New Vegas and the mainline Fallouts, maybe Bethesda could help Obsidian with that. And then, in terms of like efficiency and streamlined processes, because Obsidian is so efficient and they move so fast, maybe, some of that can help rub off on Bethesda. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but I would hope that since they're all under the same roof, there could be a little bit of, a cross pollination between the two studios, and maybe they can, help each other in that way. As far as pressure, Yeah, I would imagine there'd be a little bit of pressure because, I mean, how long has it been since a mainline Fallout, Fallout 4? And we've been, we've been waiting 1,000 years for Elder Scrolls 6. And then if Obsidian, picks up this New Vegas remaster and then New Vegas 2, and they pump those out, and they're smaller scale. I get that they're smaller scope, but still, just the optics of it might look kind of rough. So I don't know. It's definitely exciting news for Fallout fans. I mean, I'm happy for Fallout fans. I've never been into post-apocalyptic, so I've never played any of them. But I imagine if you're a Fallout fan right now, man, you just had the equivalent of a great steak, and you done kicked your feet up and having a cigar, or you just having a great time right now with this news. So, you know, yeah, it's pretty good news if you're a Fallout fan. So it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out.
Yeah. Any thoughts on this, Forte, before we wrap it up?
No, I'm good, bro.
All right. Well, look, I would say this some good news finally. Look, you're if you are a fan of Bethesda games, you can't help but be happy with this outcome. You got a roadmap of what Bethesda's working on, which is very rare. They don't typically give you this much detail and information, but I think that's probably has to do with the change in leadership, the difference between Phil Spencer, who just let them do whatever the heck they wanted, and Asha, who has actual vision of how she wants things to happen. And so she probably told Todd, yeah, you need to come out and let people, we need some good PR after the past couple weeks. And so here you go. You have it.
If
And
people have
so,
missed things long enough.
yeah. So I do think that's good for Fallout fans. You're gonna get a lot of Fallout content soon. You're gonna get your Elder Scrolls 6 real soon too. Um, I would say for myself personally, I hope that they start to evolve the game design because something
Yeah.
that Bethesda has, they have what people they have a particular way of doing things that their fans enjoy, but it's very similar to like Halo, where Halo fans just want Halo to just be Halo. They don't want Sprint, they don't want ADS, they don't want anything that's like a modern feature of gunplay in first person shooters. But it's just like, bro, you gotta understand that like you're a dying breed. Like the people who like that isn't enough to support a studio making more content for this game. Like the rest of the world has moved on, and there are newer gamers that are more plentiful than you are. They don't like those kind of games. So you need to have some concessions. You need to modernize some of these things. You need to evolve what you do, make things a bit more palatable for a newer generation. It is, and maybe that means, hey, look, you got two different games. You got a game that's more modern and a game that's more old school, or maybe you just kind of merge those two things. I think Halo Infinite's gunplay actually did that pretty well. But people need to understand that it ain't just Halo that needs to kind of come to terms with some changes. Bethesda needs to do the same thing. And I could get into details on how I felt about Starfield needed some changes to kind of push that forward, but we will need to get into that all night long. I would just say that I hope that Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6 kind of evolve more than just having the visuals look better, because it's an updated creation engine. I would like to see the logic of how the engine works and how they do their game design also get a facelift, so to speak, the way the visuals do. So
Everything you just said requires an eye, like I mean, we've heard the story a million times of God of War and Shuhei Yoshida telling Corey, "Nope, this isn't it. No more Rage Kratos. You guys gonna have to do something different." It takes that kind of eye to be able to recognize when fans have had enough of that formula and how to reboot it, keeping the spirit and the soul of what it is, but evolving it, like you said. And they're going to need someone who has an eye for that and you just have to wonder if there is that person there. Or maybe they can hire Shuhei Services. I mean, Shuhei has an independent, his own little business now, and he consults, with these studios. So, I mean, it'd be nice if maybe they hired him and said, "Hey, you know about Fallout, you know about Elder Scrolls. This is what we got. What do you think?" Because he has an eye for that, and he's independent now. So hopefully they would maybe hire his services, because everything you just said is bang on. They need to start looking at making some changes, and you don't have to change the whole thing, but they do need to kind of spruce it up and make freshen it up a little bit.
Yeah. All right, let's get on out of here. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Forte, let everyone know where they can find you over the next week, sir.
YouTube, Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, Gaming Forte. Appreciate everybody coming through and hanging out with us. Appreciate SloMo being back. Appreciate not having to, set the show up. I love it. It's amazing. Even though every once in a while I know he needs a break, but appreciate Ramon coming through as always and chilling and hanging out with us. He's part of the show and he's here to stay, and I love it. With that being said, have a great weekend. Enjoy. Well, when you're not outside dying from smoke. It's just crazy, but just enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there, and we see you guys next week.
All right, Ramon.
Well, you can find me on Blue Sky under my name, Ramon Terrell. If you want to find me or my work anywhere, just Google my name and you'll find out where I am and what everything is. Sinistaza1 on all gaming platforms. And just enjoy your games. Don't let the news bum you out too much, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's some of the darkest days we've had in the industry side, but on the actual gamer side, I still think we're still kind of gliding in that golden age-ish, despite all the darkness, because there's never been more variety of all types that we have right now. And just try not to let that, try not to lose sight of that with all the bad news going on, and with Sony showing their whole behind, and Microsoft dropping people 16,000 now, 16,000 later, or is it 16,000 or 1,600 now and then later. I mean, it's terrible, and we can put out the positive vibes for the devs and hope that they land on their feet, but don't let it ruin the hobby for you, because we got a lot out here to enjoy. So enjoy your games.
Yep. For myself, again, as I said, I probably will try to do a directive 80/20 stream soon. I know I've said that before, but I'm really going to actually play it. I'll set it up before the next podcast. I'll have at least the first episode out. So look forward to that. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Go out there. Well, actually, if you live in my area, don't go outside. This is one of the times where you don't really need to touch grass, because the air quality is absolute garbage. So just kind of maybe stay inside until the air is better. Then go outside and touch some grass. But until then, enjoy your games. Appreciate everyone that came through, and hope we see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.
Yep.